You know that feeling when you're so angry you become calm? Like scary calm. The kind where you stop yelling and start thinking. That's where I was at 11:47 p.m. on a Wednesday, sitting on my bathroom floor with my phone in one hand and a jewelry box in the other, realizing I'd just been blocked by the man I was supposed to marry in 4 months. The bathroom tile was cold. I remember that specifically because I'd been sitting there long enough that my legs had gone numb. My phone screen kept lighting up with Instagram notifications, mutual friends posting their perfect lives. But when I tried to call Jake, straight to voicemail. Tried to text green bubbles. iMessage showed I was blocked. Facebook, blocked. Instagram, blocked. Even Venmo. Who blocks someone on Venmo? Let me back up. Jake and I had been together for 3 years. We met at a company mixer. I worked in marketing. He was in sales at a different firm. Classic boring origin story. He proposed last November on a beach in Mexico, and honestly, it was perfect. I'm not someone who needs grand gestures, but he did the sunset thing, got down on one knee in the sand, had a photographer hiding behind a palm tree. The ring was gorgeous. White gold, princess cut, exactly what I would have picked if he'd asked. The wedding planning started in January. We set a date for June 15th. Venue booked, dress ordered, invitations designed. His mom, Patricia, was involved. That's the nice word for it. She had opinions about everything. The flowers were too modern. The venue was too far from their house. My dress wasn't traditional enough. But Jake always backed me up. Always told her we'd consider her input, then we'd do what we wanted anyway. I thought we were a team. March rolled around and things started getting tense. Wedding planning stress, everyone said. Totally normal. Jake started working late more often. Coming home around 9, 10 at night, smelling like The Office, that specific combination of recycled air and printer toner. He'd kiss me on the forehead, microwave leftovers, fall asleep on the couch during whatever show we were watching. I worked from home most days, so I'd be there all day in our apartment. Then he'd come home exhausted and we'd barely talk. I wasn't suspicious. I was tired too. Planning a wedding while working full-time isn't exactly relaxing. My best friend Sarah kept asking if I was okay, and I kept saying yes, just stressed. She'd give me this look, the one where she tilted her head slightly and pressed her lips together. But she didn't push. The fight happened on a Tuesday. Well, it started on Tuesday. Jake came home at 10:15 p.m. I was already in bed scrolling through emails on my laptop. He walked into the bedroom, didn't kiss me hello, just started undressing for the shower. I asked how his day was. He said fine. I asked about the Henderson account he'd been working on. He said it was handled. Real conversation, you know? Then I asked when he wanted to finalize the catering numbers, because the venue needed them by Friday. He stopped. One shoe off, one shoe still on. Just froze there by the closet. Can we not do this right now? I looked up from my laptop. Do what? I'm just asking about catering. No, you're not. You're mad I'm home late again. I wasn't mad. I literally wasn't. But the way he said it, defensive before I'd accused him of anything, that made something click in my brain. You know when your computer's been running slow for weeks and you finally realize you have malware? Are you okay? I asked. You seem off lately. That's when it escalated. He said I was always checking up on him, always questioning where he'd been. I said I'd asked about his day. That's not interrogation. He said I was being paranoid. I said I was being normal. Back and forth, voices getting louder. The neighbors definitely heard us. Our building has thin walls, and I could hear their TV turn down around the time we really got going. It ended with him sleeping on the couch. Fine. Couples fight. We'd cool off, talk tomorrow, work it out. Except Wednesday morning, he left for work before I woke up. No note, no text. I tried to give him space. Sent one message around noon. Can we talk tonight? No response. Tried calling at 3 p.m. Voicemail. By 6 p.m., I was actively worried. Called again at 7, again at 8:30, at 9:15, I called his mom, I know. But I was genuinely concerned something had happened. What if he was in an accident? What if he was in a hospital somewhere? Patricia answered on the third ring. Hello? Hey, Patricia, it's me. Is Jake there? Pause. Long enough that I checked if the call had dropped. He's here. My stomach did this thing. This dropping thing. Can I talk to him? He says he needs space. Not let me get him. Not he's busy. He says he needs space. Like she already knew. Like he'd told her before I'd called. We had a fight. But it wasn't. I just need to talk to him for 5 minutes. Maybe it's best if you both take some time to think, Patricia. Had never used that tone with me before. Cold, final, like. I was a telemarketer she was dismissing. I hung up. Sat there on the couch, our couch, the gray sectional we'd picked out together at IKEA. Spent 4 hours assembling while arguing about whether we needed the extra screws and tried to process what was happening. That's when I decided to check our bank account. We had a joint account for wedding expenses and shared bills. I hadn't looked at it in maybe 2 weeks. I pulled it up on my phone, entered my password, waited for it to load. There were charges I didn't recognize. Lots of them. Dinner at Romano's, that expensive Italian place downtown. 287. I'd never been there with him. That was March 10th, a Thursday. I'd been home that night working on a presentation, and he'd said he grabbed pizza near the office. Another charge, Hotel Meridian. $340, March 18th. That was last week. We'd both been home that night. Or I thought we had. But no, I'd fallen asleep early, woke up around 2 a.m., and he was in bed next to me. But the charge was timestamped 7:43 p.m. My hands started shaking. Not like dramatically, but that fine tremor you get when your blood sugar drops. Except I'd eaten dinner 2 hours ago. I scrolled further. More restaurants. Another hotel charge from February. A jewelry purchase at Macy's for $456 that definitely wasn't my engagement ring, because that had been November. I took screenshots. All of them. Sent them to my email. Then I just sat there, laptop open, feeling my brain trying to catch up with what my gut already knew. Around 11:30, I tried calling him one more time, blocked. That's when I became scary calm. I got up, went to the bedroom, and found the jewelry box on my dresser. Inside, my engagement ring and the wedding band we'd already purchased. His wedding band was in there too. We'd bought them as a set. Total value, probably close to $8,000. His family had contributed some money, but most of it was ours. Well, mine. I made more than him, though he'd never quite accepted that. I took the box to my desk. Found a padded envelope in my office supplies drawer. Addressed it to Patricia's house. I'd sent her Christmas cards. I had the address memorized. Wrote a note on a Post-it. Didn't say much. Just, he won't need these anymore. Then I sat there on the bathroom floor, box in one hand, thinking about whether I was overreacting. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe the hotel charges were for work events, client dinners he hadn't mentioned. Maybe I was about to nuke my entire relationship over a misunderstanding, but he'd blocked me. That's the thing I kept coming back to. You don't block your fiancé over a fight about catering numbers. You don't run to your mom's house and refuse to talk. You don't do that unless you're hiding something and you know you've been caught. I put the rings in the envelope. Thursday morning, I drove to the post office. It's a weird little branch near my office. Always smells like musty paper and floor cleaner. The woman behind the counter was maybe 60, had that look of someone who's worked there for decades and has seen everything. I handed her the envelope. Priority mail? She asked. Yeah. Signature required. She printed the label, stuck it on, charged me $17. I watched her toss it in the bin with all the other packages. Done. I went to work. Sat through meetings. Responded to emails. My boss asked if I was feeling okay because I seemed distracted. I said I was fine, just tired. Sarah texted me around lunch asking if Jake and I had worked things out yet, and I told her we'd talk later. The envelope would arrive Friday. Saturday at the latest, I spent Thursday night changing passwords. Bank account, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify. We'd shared everything. I made sure my name was the primary on the apartment lease. It was I'd signed first. I looked up therapists covered by my insurance. I didn't book anything, just looked, made a list. Friday, I called in sick to work. I wasn't sick, just couldn't function. Stayed in bed until noon watching old episodes of The Office, the comfort show everyone turns to when their life implodes. My phone stayed silent until 3:47 p.m. Patricia called me. Not Jake. His mother. I let it ring 4 times before I answered. Hello? What the hell did you send me? She was yelling. Like, immediately yelling. What is this supposed to mean? I stayed calm. That scary calm I'd found Wednesday night. It means the wedding's off. You can't just, Jake said you had a fight, that you were being irrational, but this, did you ask him about the hotel charges? The dinners? The jewelry I didn't receive? Silence. Check the dates on your calendar, Patricia. All those nights he was at your house, supposedly. Were they the same nights as those charges? More silence. I could hear her breathing, fast and sharp. "Who is she?" I asked. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Patricia." I'd never used that tone with her before. I'd always been polite, accommodating, swallowed my annoyance when she criticized my wedding choices. Not anymore. "You just received $8,000 worth of rings in the mail." I took screenshots of the bank account before he could delete them. "If you don't know what I'm talking about, then ask your son. Ask him about the Hotel Meridian. Ask him about Romano's. Ask him who the Macy's jewelry was for." She hung up on me. I sat there feeling weirdly proud of myself. My hands weren't shaking anymore. 2 hours later, my phone rang again. Jake's number. "He'd unblocked me." I answered. "Yeah? You sent my mom the rings?" He wasn't yelling. He sounded tired, maybe caught. "You blocked me on every platform. Your mom seemed like the best way to reach you." Jesus, that's so petty. What's petty is running home to mommy instead of talking to your fiancé. What's petty is draining our joint account on someone else. Silence. The kind that confirms everything. "Her name's Melissa," he finally said. "She works in our office. It's been 5 months. It was supposed to end before the wedding. I didn't know how to tell you." 5 months. I did the math. That started in October. He proposed in November. He proposed to me while sleeping with someone else. "Cool," I said. My voice sounded hollow, like it was coming from somewhere else. "Don't contact me again. I'm keeping the apartment since my name's primary on the lease. I'll pack your stuff. You can coordinate with Sarah to pick it up. We're done. Wait, can we—" I hung up. Blocked his number. Blocked him on everything, the same way he'd done to me. Then I called Sarah and started crying. The kind of crying where you can't really breathe, where your whole face gets hot and your throat closes up. She came over with wine and Thai food and let me be a mess on the couch for 3 hours. The next few weeks were a blur. I had to cancel the venue, notify guests, return gifts people had already sent. My mom was furious, at Jake, not me. She called him a coward. My dad said he'd never liked him anyway, which wasn't true, but I appreciated the loyalty. Friends took sides. Some mutual ones stayed neutral, which felt worse than if they'd picked Jake. At least then I'd know where I stood. Patricia never called back. But according to Jake's sister, who reached out to apologize, said she had no idea, there was a massive fight at their house that Friday night. Patricia apparently went nuclear on Jake, told him he was throwing his life away, that I was the best thing that ever happened to him. She tried to give me the rings back through Jake's sister, but I told her to keep them or donate them. I didn't want them. Jake and Melissa lasted about 2 more months. His sister told me that too, though I didn't ask. Apparently, Patricia refused to meet Melissa, and once the sneaking around excitement was gone, so was the relationship. He tried to reach out to me in August, sent an email apologizing, saying he'd made a huge mistake. I deleted it without responding. Here's the thing, nobody tells you about breakups like this. The relief sneaks up on you. For weeks, I felt like I was drowning. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, cried at random times like in the grocery store or during work meetings. But slowly, so slowly I didn't notice it happening, I started feeling lighter. Started realizing how much effort I'd been putting into making him comfortable, making his mom happy, shrinking myself to fit their expectations. I started therapy in July. Joined a gym in August, not for any revenge body reason, just because I needed something to do with all the nervous energy. Made new friends through a book club Sarah dragged me to. Went on a few dates in the fall, nothing serious. Just remembered what it felt like to have someone interested in me. Someone who actually showed up and wasn't living a double life. It's been a year now. I'm not going to pretend I'm completely over it. You don't just erase 3 years and a failed engagement like they never happened. But I'm good. Better than good, actually. I got promoted at work. Moved to a nicer apartment, one that doesn't have memories of him attached to every room. Traveled to Iceland with Sarah over the summer, saw the northern lights. Felt like myself again. And Patricia? She friend requested me on Facebook last month. I didn't accept it, but I didn't block her either. Just left it sitting there. Maybe that's petty too. I don't really care. The wedding date, June 15th, came and went. I spent it at a spa with my mom and Sarah, got massages and drank champagne, and didn't think about what I'd be doing if everything had gone differently. Or I thought about it a little, but mostly I felt grateful. Grateful I'd found out before the wedding. Grateful I'd trusted my gut when something felt wrong. Grateful I'd sent those rings to his mom instead of sitting around waiting for him to decide my future for me. Someone asked me once if I regretted the ring thing. If maybe I should have kept them, sold them, used the money for something fun. Honestly, no, because it wasn't about the rings. It was about looking at myself in the mirror on that bathroom floor and deciding I wasn't going to be the person who begged someone to explain why they betrayed me. I wasn't going to wait around hoping he'd come back with a good excuse. I was going to pack up his symbols of forever and send them back with a post-it note. And you know what? Scary calm me made the right choice.